And we're on the air.
10 minutes, 11 minutes early. Earlier than usual.
Since there's no way for us not to talk about it, I think we might as well get it out of the way right in the beginning. So, Katie, Laughing Man, have either of you made a pilgrimage to your local movie theater to pay tribute to the gods of Star Wars for bringing us a new installment of our favorite franchise, The Force Awakens?
Yep, it was. I actually went there. I saw it, and I gotta say, it was shocking. Some of the revelations that like after the rebellion kicked out the conservative empire, they made it legal for Han and Chewie to get married, and then Luke and Leia decided to rebuild the Jedi's by keeping the Force in the family.
Well, you gotta preserve the purity
Yes, of the Jedi
of the
Order.
Force. Yes. I mean, if it's okay for the Lannisters to do it, surely it should be okay for the Skywalkers.
And that's why Luke and Leia's kid is such a little evil bastard. He becomes a Sith.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like Joffrey. In fact, isn't his name like Darth Joffrey or something?
Darth Joffrius, I think. Something like that. And he also has like a purple flaming lightsaber, although it's kind of in the shape of a crossbow if you think about it. So I think the Game of Thrones references are actually applicable. As a matter
He's
of fact,
he's
I think
he's sniping Ewoks on his bed like they're hookers.
Ewok hookers to be exact, yes. An Ewok dressed in the Princess Leia chain bikini, slave girl outfit.
Speaking of
That's
furries,
that's a toy opportunity right there, right, guys?
yeah.
Hmm.
How am I supposed to explain this to my children? That one asshole who was like walking by the Princess Leia doll or whatever in Toys R Us and going like, "I got two daughters. How am I supposed to explain that to us?" And Carrie Fisher, who's like the fucking ultimate don't give a shit about anything or anybody, is like, "Just tell him I got kidnapped by an evil space slug and he made me wear it. Then I killed him back for making me wear it."
Mm, which it's really disappointing that it was a father who took umbrage with the Princess Leia, the slave girl outfit chain of merchandise, because as we've discussed, surely there are far more brutal, outrageous, not outrageous, mind you, but violent scenes in the original Star Wars trilogy, such as Luke's foster parents getting fucking burnt alive, potentially, by the stormtroopers in A New Hope.
See, it doesn't matter how much violence you show on television. You just can't show sex because
Well, it's
never
not even.
mind.
I guess it's implied sexuality, but believe you me, if it was Han Solo dressed in that outfit, no one would have bat an eye.
Oh yeah, no, I that would have been one of my favorite movies.
As a matter of fact, Han Solo has a potentially worse
He's
fate.
sitting there with the Han Solo vibrator going like hand shot first.
God.
Well, and
Left me unfulfilled. I had to finish it up solo.
Oh
See,
God.
that's why I
that's
call
why
it the hand solo vibrator.
Oh
the
boy.
Han Solo experience.
Holy shit. We're keeping this
Uh-huh.
for wildcards.
Of course we are. Any bit that involves us deriding you is automatically wildcard gold.
Yeah. That's what I figured.
Yeah, so first up, I'm actually very glad that you're here, Katie.
Yay!
Unfortunately, I had something to show you last month, but since you weren't there, Amazon went ahead and took it off, so I can't show you.
Oh
Though there are
no,
clips of it. Yeah.
I ruined
Hand
it.
solo vibrator.
Oh, yeah, that's my dream present, obviously, right? You know.
So what it was actually, do you know who Cartoon Saloon is?
Maybe, yes, probably.
They were the ones that made the movies Secret of Kells and Song of the Sea.
Yeah.
Yeah. They actually had a pilot up on Amazon Prime called Eddie of the Realms of Eternal. And I
Uh-huh.
was going to show it to you, but they just took it off a couple weeks ago for the voting
Oh no!
process. But you can find clips of it on YouTube.
I will have to do that later.
Is this Amazon thing the one where you pitch an animation idea? Is that what this is?
Yeah, Amazon Prime have this like exclusive deal with a bunch of basically you like make a pitch, you animate it, and then they put the pilot up on YouTube on Amazon Prime, and people with Amazon Prime subscriptions can watch it, and then they rate it, and they can vote for which one actually gets highlighted for a season.
Isn't it called something like Amazon Studios? Something
Yeah,
like
that's
that?
part of it.
Okay, 'cause they-
Hey Max,
What?
remember in the pre-CCS podcast Dark Ages of the CCS website where we had he who shall not be mentioned, Mr. and Friends?
you mean the guy by the name of?
Yes. And he would want people to vote on his own Amazon pitch.
Believe you me, I remember. That's what I was also thinking of.
Wait, tell me the story.
Actually, come to think of it, one was ahead of his time because his story involved, if memory serves, two high school sweethearts who happened to be lesbians, spending the entirety of the show talking to each other about their lesbian lives as lesbians.
And
I still remember certain excerpts of the dialogue where the two of them would have like the most mundane conversation ever, like, you know, what do you want to have for lunch? And the responses would be something along the lines of, well, as a lesbian, I think we should go out for Chinese. Because fish, yes.
oh my god! And Max, I'm dying of laughter over here. But remember when he posted his script to us? Because that was in the days where he was trying to, like, you know, get more people to see his stuff, and where everyone's reading his script and it's like, what's this about? And he's like, they're lesbians. and we're like, no, what's the plot? They're lesbians.
It was basically like one of those horrible High School Musical Disney movies,
Oh god.
only starring lesbians, talking and singing about how lesbian they are.
Oh my god. This sounds like amazing.
I have to mute my microphone. I'm dying of laughter.
There was like a song that's kind of like the one from Aladdin, you know, I can show you the world. Only in this case, she was trying to seduce the other girl and show her the LGBT community, introduce her to the LGBT community, rather.
Oh my god.
It wasn't even that. It was the fact that it was just so bad.
Well, there was no plot. There was nothing.
Every question answered was like, well, as a lesbian, I...
Although, again, I gotta give the
like
guy...
it's a fucking alien or something. Well, as a facehugger, as a dinosaur, I mean, this is looking as a talking dog in a Disney cartoon, but as a lesbian,
Although we gotta give old Fun some props, he was way ahead of his time because this was like 3 or 4 years ago, and then a couple years later, Gone Home comes out and pretty much does the same thing.
His Amazon idea gained sentience and it created its own game. And its own social networking community called Tumblr.
Yes, is to blame for everything. So if you want to voice your objection to all this nonsense with progressivism and whatnot, go to inthecult.com and leave your hate mail there.
I'm dying
Matt.
here.
Jesus Christ.
You were there, Katie. This was insane.
Yeah, it sounds like all of the fun times happened before I joined CCS. I'm sad.
Yeah, well, because CCS stopped being fun the moment you joined, that's why.
Aww. You're so mean to me.
Anytime, sweetie. Anytime. Anyways, we should probably go back to Kennedy.
Yeah, so Kennedy, how do you feel about us using up your time with stories about lesbians?
So Kennedy, as a lesbian, what do you think?
So yeah, the funniest thing happened I think like a day ago. Pew Research actually did a study about people in the gaming community, and it turns out that most of the people that actually identified as gamers were not only mostly male, but they were also mostly minorities. So apparently minorities don't have to be a game developer's audience.
Wow. It's almost as if video games are some type of oddly level playing field.
It's almost like anyone can join just by picking up
Yeah.
the controller and playing the game.
Damn, I mean, developers keep on trying to keep those, keep everyone else out except for the straight white males, but these people just keep on getting in. Jesus, they're gonna have to build a wall. We're gonna build a wall. It's gonna be a nice wall, but it's gonna be a big wall with a big nice gate in the front.
Yeah, Katie, how exactly how much red tape did you have to go through in order to be approved as a gamer, given the fact that you are for the most part, a woman?
Yeah, let me tell you, I had to jump through so many hurdles. I mean, I had to. It was insane. For a while, I had to pretend I was a lesbian, so that they would maybe pay a little bit more attention to me, because then I could tell them, well, as a lesbian.
This is what we're gonna call this after hours. We're keeping that entire conversation, and the name of this after hours is as a lesbian ...
Well, see, the thing is, Katie, now if you also pretend to be a lesbian, you can get a job at Gearbox because what's his face and not Andrew, something Birch.
Wait, really?
The guy who owns Gearbox basically posted an ad on Twitter saying that Gearbox is now hiring, and you should only apply if you identify as a quote-unquote marginalized person. Not we're looking for talented game developers or artists or voice actors. No, we're looking for a quota to fill.
Jesus. So they're just going to get a bunch of whiners applying, and then they're going to wonder why their game doesn't get off the ground, because all they're going to do is have people sitting at desks all day being like, I'm depressed, God, I can't work on this game
air
right
conditioning
now.
is depressing me.
I know, I'm triggered right now, I can't work on the game, but there's a deadline coming up. We don't care, I'm depressed.
Gearbox presents Gone Home 2.
Kahuna Drake, you might want to mute the YouTube version.
Yeah, we can hear us through your...
We can hear ourselves talk, and usually we like that, but this time we just need to stay in the conversation.
I'm sorry.
As you should be. No, before we finish up with Kennedy.
Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm still laughing about the last lesbian thing. Those were funny days. I mean, it was just insane. The stories we could tell about that particular site, but we just don't want to be assholes. We'll tell you guys later.
You only want to be a little bit of an asshole and tell stories one at a time.
Well, we don't want to burn every single bridge behind us.
There's
only some of them.
Max, that's a bridge to nowhere. We can knock that bridge down, and it's like one of those bridges in Alaska that just lead to a polar bear.
No, I understand.
There's no point.
I understand. Most people would call us cynics, assholes, but in this case, we're being fucking saints by not discussing this. Not that anyone is going to thank us for this.
Well, as lesbian.
Yes, as a lesbian, I accept your gratitude.
Well, I know Kennedy mentioned that Pew study, but I don't know, I read an article from, I guess, New York Times and Huffington Post saying that most women who play video games don't identify as a gamer, and then they made this whole thing, well, sexism, that's why.
Okay, even though technically you don't even have to play online games, you can just install it on your Xbox or PC, whatever, and never interact with other people and never encounter all the infantile comments in online Call of Duty matches. Somehow sexism.
Single player games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow sexism, just the thought that there is sexism somewhere out there in the universe is so oppressive that they cannot pick up not even a controller, a fucking iPhone and play Angry Birds.
Yeah, because Katie plays Pokemon. Every once in a while, the character will look at Pikachu will look at the camera and be like, "Show me your tits."
Well,
Pika,
that's what he says when he goes Pika Pika Pika.
Mm-hmm.
Pixar didn't happen. Pika.
Let me see your cloister.
Oh, God.
Pokemon joke. Oh, my God.
Well, the weird thing about the study is that they really didn't make a determinants between console gaming, PC gaming, or mobile gaming, so we don't really know. It could be just some chick playing Candy Crush and doesn't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
Well, because if they were to make that distinction, it would probably upset their results. It's like
Yeah.
that study from a couple of years ago where 47% of gamers are female. Where the fuck are they?
Oh God, that guy who wrote that Huffington Post. Oh my God, he was like, "Well, there is no difference between Fallout 4 and Candy Crush."
It's like what?
Well, there's pretty big difference. I mean, sure, I mean, there's different types of games though, but these little distraction type games. I mean, even back in the 90s, kids walk around with a Game Boy and all he ever played was Tetris. He's not. I wouldn't classify him as a gamer. I mean, it's like, okay, well, do you play anything else besides stacking blocks and whatnot? Have you ever picked up Mario? Okay, you've played Mario. Okay, fine, you've played Mario. That just means that. Okay, do you play other games? And once you start getting into more different types of games, then you're like, oh, okay, you're a gamer then. I mean, it's like saying, yeah, I saw a movie once. I'm a movie connoisseur.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, because to me, gamer connotates some form of like hobbyism or passion.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I've known people who they have a smartphone and they play Candy Crush or Cake Lake or whatever the fuck they want to, stupid little stacking games, and I doubt they'd be considered gamers. Whereas I know women who have played like online. My aunt plays online gaming like EverQuest for like fucking hours and hours and hours, and it's like holy shit, she's a gamer. Because it becomes a part of your identity is what it does. When this particular hobby becomes something you invest quite a bit of time into, you assume that identity. You become a gamer.
Mhm.
If you just play one game, you've played a game, awesome. I hope you had fun. If whatever. But if it's something you actively devote a pretty decent sized chunk of your life to, that makes you a gamer. So.
Part of your identity, gamer sexual.
You forgot to tell everyone who wrote that wonderful joke.
Ah, yes, Cinemax.
Copyright Cinemax
Cinemas
2015.
Maximus.
Gamer sexual.
Yeah, and then Huffington Post Canada was like, Professor Farnsworth, good news, everyone! Women will save gaming!
How?
Wait, seriously?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was so... As someone
It's-
who's getting into game development, this kind of just irritates me.
It's the biggest fucking industry right now, and how are women supposed to save it?
And everybody's like, it's
I
been
mean,
fine
what's
for the
the-
past 20, 30 years. What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, sure, if you
There's
get more,
not enough diversity. There's not
Yeah.
enough games centered around feelings.
I know, like, the freaking article opens up with saying that, like, I don't know, this chick was at, like, a University of Toronto, like, this indie game event, and then she was referring to her male peers. Well, they're just making games that they want to play. And
What's
that's-
wrong with that?
I just
Okay,
thought...
I got to really jump in here. Okay, there's a woman named Jane Jensen, and back in the '90s she made this game. You might have heard of it. It's called Gabriel Knight.
Oh,
Sins of the
yes,
Father.
yes.
Okay, now this woman wrote and basically created this entire game, and it's a murder mystery novel kind of game where you're solving voodoo murders in New Orleans, right? And it recently got a 20th anniversary thing. I was highly recommend it. I love this particular fucking game. And she made the game she wanted to make, including a protagonist that she thought was quote hot. And in the remake, there's notes in the remake where you get like you explore areas and you can like look at this little area in your menu and it tells you some behind the scenes stuff about the remake and the original. And one of the notes she puts in there is that she recreated the character of Gabriel Knight to be quote hotter. So she gave him like the blonde hair, and she gave him like the cheekbones, and he wears a tight white tank top and tight blue jeans and all this kind of stuff. And he's a ladies' man. He always he thinks he's a ladies' man, but then all the women always like throw quips back at him. So the women always look intelligent. And he always kind of looks like a dunce. And I still like the game. And she got to make the game she wanted to make, and guess what? It was a huge fucking hit. So I don't know where this impression is that women can't make video games. I mean, sure, this is only one example, but there's several of them. I mean,
I can give you another example. I was
Raymond
recently
Jade with Assassin's Creed. I mean, go ahead, Max.
I was recently watching a behind-the-scenes video on the creation of Tales from the Borderlands,
Oh.
And like half of the interviews are with women, and as far as credits go, one is credited as like the director of episodes 1 through 3. The other one is a writer. The third one was like a voice acting coordinator, whatever the official title is. So again, the people, the females who want to be in the industry, somehow they end up in the industry. Whereas people who only want to complain about the lack of diversity in the industry, somehow they remain as game journalists or Tumblr bloggers.
Well, the fact that they're bloggers is the biggest problem. I mean, you can go on the internet, you can say whatever you want, and you can drum up enough controversy to make it sound like you're legit. Just look at us.
Just look at Shakesville.
But again, it kind of blows my mind. I mean, if more women want to get into the game development, awesome. I mean, no problem there. You know, the more the merrier. But I don't know where this idea that it's a boys' club comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, if playing games is something that more guys do than women, you know, more guys identify as gamers. You know, there's no wall, there's no gate saying no, you can't come in and play.
Well, let's start with
Additionally,
the fact that oh, sorry, I interrupted you. Finish.
I was also going to say that there's no gate there saying that women can't make games. I mean, I don't understand where this wall came from.
Well, let's start with the fact that just even like 10 years ago, if you were into video games or comic books or even Star Wars, like in Star Wars, you were considered to be a geek.
Yes,
You
I
were
made
not.
that exact same argument back in the SJW trilogy.
Yes, you were not seen as some sort of, I don't know, the most popular kid in school if you were into that stuff. And most of the people who were into that stuff, they happened to be male, and they were the ones who were buying the video games, the comic books, and whatnot. So it is kind of infuriating to see all these companies like DC, Marvel, or Gearbox and whatnot basically spitting in the face of their long-term fans,
Male
saying
and female.
male and female, yes, and basically saying that, oh, well, you know, all those stories we wrote years ago, oh, they were sexist, they were racist, they weren't good enough, there was not enough minorities back in the day. So guess what? Now Captain America is going to be black, and Thor is going to be a female, and this is a new, more enlightened age of Marvel. And it's like, yeah, you lost me. Sorry.
I didn't know Captain Planet was Marvel. I thought that was Turner. But
Did I say Captain Planet? I meant Captain America, of course.
oh, I thought you said Captain Planet. I'm like, what?
No, Captain America.
All
Captain
right.
Planet was blue, so he was progressive.
He's already
in the thing.
Captain Planet was the one of the biggest circle jerk type of eco-friendly shows on television.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, again, I mean, Katie plays Pokemon. I don't see Katie when you went down to the game store and you were gonna ask for a copy of Pokemon. Did someone like tell you to get out of the store?
No, not at all.
See, I
Well,
mean,
they did because they they thought she was a homeless person.
But I just don't. Okay, so I just don't get where the controversy is at. I mean, there's nothing stopping women, guys, white, black,
Well,
doesn't matter, from
here
enjoying
is-
games.
Here is an example. Sometimes when I go to, I can see maybe why some women feel like there's a wall because they're pussies. Because sometimes when I go down to my local games and comics and card shop, field, that's the problem right there. Yeah, exactly. But a lot of times when I go down there, there will be like a Magic card tournament or something going on, and like if you look in there, like it's all guys, and I play Magic, and if I wanted to go in there and like join the tournament, I would be one of the few women in the room. And so for some women, looking at a room of all guys will be like, oh no, I'm the only girl. I'm gonna be different from everyone, and I can't do it because they'll notice that I'm female, and then I don't know, it will feel weird to me, and I will be not the same.
Well, let's
And
start with the
so-
fact that most of those nerds would be grateful if a
Yeah.
female were to grace them with their presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, girls are always
Because
like, well, they're gonna.
they're not getting. They're not getting any if they're like playing Magic tournaments. So
Hey, I've dated men who play Magic, and they got plenty. So there you
That's
go.
because you have low standards, but go ahead.
Horrible. But no, like I feel like that is part of the problem because yeah, in some instances, like with the game industry, not so much anymore, but it did used to be very heavy on the male side, where there were just a lot of male developers and not very many females. So a female entering that space, maybe she'd be like, "Oh no, it's all men and there's no women. I'm gonna be the only girl." But it's like, okay, why are you seeing that as a bad thing? Why are you seeing that as something that intimidates you? Why not just go in there and do your stuff? Because if you're a game maker, what should matter is your talent. And so if you walk in there like, fuck yeah, I can make a game, like bring it on, then
Yeah,
Not,
exactly.
not to mention, what you just said was that they were afraid they were going to be like the Trailblazers. I'm going to be the first female game developer in history or something like that. Yeah, imagine how much pressure and nervousness the first male game developers felt because they were technically the first game developers, period. Like,
Mhm.
there was no such thing as video games.
Well, don't
They-
don't forget that. Oh, go ahead, Max.
I was going to say there was no industry. They were basically the founding fathers who created this entire thing. And now they're being, figuratively speaking, shat upon because they were not diverse enough. Oh, it was always this boys club and blah blah blah.
Well, don't forget though. You've read Nikki's book, The Proteus Paradox. It outlines that women were the first programmers.
Yeah.
While the guys were out fighting in the war and getting killed and stuff, women were at home doing their effort by doing some of the heavy programming. And then back in the day, for guys, it was an unfashionable choice for a career to be a programmer because it was almost like, that's women's work, And now we have the exact opposite where women don't want to get into programming, or maybe there's a stigma about women getting into programming where it's like, oh, it's just a boys club kind of thing.
Yeah.
Probably yes, but you say there's a stigma, but then again, I can show you the statistics from that one Tilder video that show that women have as high a chance, if not even twice the chance of being hired for a position in the tech industry than a man, just because these days they're desperately trying to, quote-unquote, fix their image.
Oh yeah, no,
Quotas.
it's completely unfair these days because a lot of companies will have like you said, a quota to fill, and so if you have a lineup of people and there's some women and some men, they're going to look at the women first just because, oh well, they're women, we need to give them a chance. It's like, what if some of the men had really good ideas and were honestly better at what they did than the women, but you're just going to hire a woman just because she's female? That isn't how. I don't think that's how we should fix this problem. I think that if we want to do something like that and we want to make it absolutely fair, we should have like blind, not auditions, but there's a thing where they do this with the orchestras where they like just listen to the people play without looking at who they are, and then whoever plays the best instrument, they're like, okay, we want the third person, that's the person that's the best, and oh, it happens to be a man, okay, that's fine, he played the best out of everyone.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's meritocracy for you.
well, yeah, exactly. See, we should do something like that instead of looking at gender first. We should look at talent first, but people aren't willing to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's why there's no on job resumes you can't attach a photo. I've seen in other countries outside the U.S. where like sometimes they put their photo on job applications, and the first time I saw that I'm like, holy shit, that's illegal. So yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, if they had like a thing where show us what you can do and don't check anything inside the sex or race categories, and just show us what you can do. I mean, that's fine. That's cool. I mean,
Yeah, I think that's what
judge
it should be like.
judge a person by their talents, and don't even have the entire white, black, guy, girl, sexuality, whatever, even come into play, and just judge them. Oh, you did this demo game. Holy shit, this rocks. Come on, work for us.
Well, like I said earlier, according to Gearbox, you and I can go fuck ourselves, Matthew, whereas Katie would be given full carte blanche to become. I wouldn't be surprised if they give her the position of the vice president of the company, just because she considers herself a marginalized person.
Well, see, Max, that's where cronyism comes in, because then we suck Katie's, we kiss Katie's butt, we suck up to Katie by kissing her butt, and we get the Gearbox.
Jesus.
Well, why'd you want to work for them in the first place?
Duke Nukem Forever 2. What do you guys think about the new Nintendo prototype, like button on screen controller game system?
I have not seen this.
Wait, the Wii U pad?
No, it's they're making the Nintendo DX or whatever the hell they're the net the
NX.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see anything about it.
yeah. I'll see if I can find some pictures of it or something. I'll mute my microphone first. But basically, what they're doing is they're trying to do a cross between console gaming in your living room and gaming on the go. So what they're going to do is they're going to turn the controller into a mobile phone touchpad, and all the buttons will be on it. And
Weird.
you can take
Oh no.
yeah, exactly. You can take the controller out with you and still play your game, but then you can come back to your home and play it on the big screen. Now here's the problem. Anybody who's ever played a video game where the buttons are on the screen, it's the biggest fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Unresponsive.
Why?
Terrible.
Oh God.
It's because they're trying to kind of get into that mobile market. That's where all the money is currently, and Nintendo is probably aching for some money. So they want to do something that will compete with the mobile.
Why?
Don't they also
They're
have
still
like
doing the hardware thing. They're
also
doing so
heard that
good
they
up
were-
until now.
I also heard that they were doing they're going to use like an Android type of OS. I think they licensed Android to make their own OS or some stupid thing.
Well, at
Let
least
me,
there's one good thing about it.
Let
At
me
least
jump
it's not
out of here real
iOS.
quick and I'll take a look at it.
Anyways, going back to the NX controller. Personally, I'd rather they focus on the software as opposed to the hardware. I think at this point it's pretty evident that Nintendo's strong suit are the games, not necessarily the game consoles. So then again, I'm saying this, but seeing how I haven't heard anything about the new Zelda game that's still meant to. I mean, it's still scheduled to be released in the Wii U, isn't it? The open world Zelda game. Answer me, damn it.
I don't know. It's not Silent Hill. I don't know.
Okay, you're useless as usual. But anyway, so that game is somewhere up in the air, and I think Star Fox has not yet been released. And Mario's pretty much dead in the water these days. I mean, Nintendo with Super Mario Maker, they've pretty much, they've just thrown their hands into the air and admitted that they're completely out of ideas. So now you, the fans, get to make the games yourselves. Despite the fact that the fans have been doing that for decades with ROM hacks and whatnot. But now Nintendo has found a way to reap all the benefits, or rather all the profits, off of what the fans had originally developed. Same thing with the Let's Plays, with the whole Nintendo Creators Program. But remember, folks, according to Ken, Nintendo has goodwill. Just for Disney.
Yeah, because they're the company that really likes their fans. Never mind the fact that they price gouge them and they screw the YouTubers.
Oh boy.
Now I posted the link, and Katie, if you can post that link up in YouTube, since my avatar.
Yeah, is
YouTube
that?
looks funky.
It looks like an iguana. Do you see it? Like there's.
Yeah, it's like a picture of an iguana
that's what.
character.
Oh, okay, that's actually what it is. I thought that wasn't what it was supposed to be, but it was.
Oh no, see how like the little guy in the middle is like a character.
Yeah, I
and
see it
It has
now.
like the buttons where you can select which weapon to use, and there's twin sticks
But
inside the
surely
pad.
the buttons are going to obstruct the view.
Well, don't tell Nintendo that because they haven't done anything
It won't let
intelligent.
me paste it, guys. It won't let me put it in the YouTube chat.
Oh well, they're shit out of luck. They can go to
I mean,
extra. They can go to extraquarter.com. It should be in there. Let's look at the Nintendo NX controller yet. Yeah, this thing. I mean, your fingers and everything else is going to get in the way of.
Oh,
I mean,
Max can post
honestly-
because he's the creator of the thing. Okay.
Yeah, I can't see it. I'm on my phone.
Well, this thing though is your hands are going to be in the way. Your fingers are going to be in the way. Most of the buttons are going to be on the screen themselves. So you only have a very, very small window already of where you can focus the content on.
Yeah.
If
Sorry,
there's
what was it called again?
extraquarter.com, best look at Nintendo NX controller yet. Has a bunch of mock-ups and some of the pictures of the patent they filed. But here's the thing though, if there's a Goomba coming in from the right-hand side and your thumb is hovering over the button, you can't see it.
Yeah.
continue.
Oh, you muted him. Thank you. But yeah, if there's something, you only between your thumbs is the only amount of space you have to actually see the action. If there's something coming off the screen towards your character, your hands are in the way. The joysticks are in the way. The buttons are in the way. It's like I played this one mobile game. It was Manos Hands of Fate, which I got for free off of a, well, not for free, but I got off of a Humble Bundle thing. And not only is trying to play a game with buttons on the screen extremely hard, because you're always missing the button with your finger, and sometimes you hold the button and you move your hand and it actually moves the buttons on the screen.
Jeez.
Because you can click and drag where you want the buttons are at. Or
Oh
where the buttons are at.
God, that's
So
horrible.
that fucks things up too. But then it's going to be exactly like what Rich and Jack said about the Sonic games, where you only have a split second to make a decision when an enemy comes off the screen. If your fingers are in the way and a Goomba's coming at you, fast, or there's a turtle shell coming at you or whatever, you're only going to have a very, very small window, literal window of the screen to be able to react to. So I think it's going to be the biggest pain in the ass, personally.
So yeah, I was hoping that Nintendo would stop this tomfoolery after Iwata's death, but
And
they're
just make
literally-
a game console.
Yeah, but they're literally doing the same shit they did with the Wii U, where it's innovation for the sake of innovation. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
guess what? Now the controller is also the screen. It's like, okay, no one had thought of that idea previously, but perhaps there's a reason no one tried doing this. Because
Yeah, practicality.
it's asinine, sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, if people want to play with a controller on a console, they're going to do it at home. And if people want to play on the go, they're going to get themselves a portable console or a mobile device.
Right.
Yeah.
No one wants to go outside with their Xbox controller and continue playing Halo on this little screen that's the size of your controller or gamepad.
Well, unless it was like the PSP and even the to a much lesser extent the almost a symbiosis between the Game Boy Advance and the GameCube, where let's say with faster internet connections coming along, you can have a controller that looks like a PSP, right? And you can take that PSP on the go, but then you can also use it to control the game on your PlayStation, right? So the theory is actually not a terrible theory. It's not necessarily a great one either, but if you can take a game on the go and stream it from your console directly to your handheld device with a screen on it, that wouldn't be bad. But the problem is trying to make the entire controller one big screen is a horrible fucking idea, because you need that little bit of extra space for physical buttons so you can feel where they're at, and the space where your hands are covering the screen, that entire space is useless. So you might as well drop the entire idea of having that be all screen.
Yeah, I can understand hooking up like the NX with the 3DS, for example.
Yeah.
And transferring the game from the larger game console to the portable one when you're on the go.
Yeah, because if you can
But-
stream it on a smaller device at a lower resolution, you could probably do most of that stuff kind of, sort of, real time.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like it sort of reminds me about how they had the new Smash Bros. On both the DS and the Wii. So if they did something like that, where the DS version it's like pretty much the same, only like not as the just lower resolution, everything like that, then like that could work. I could see that working, but like having the controller be what you carry around, I mean, and like what if you put it in your pocket and you fucking like you sit on it and then you break one of the joysticks off or something? Like a DS is meant to fold down and like be a compact thing that it's not easily going to get fucked up if you like accidentally sit on it. You know what I mean? But
It'd be interesting is if there was a way where you could like compartmentalize or at least segment, divide up the actual content on the game. So like each level is its own like little packet or something like that. So let's say I'm playing Final Fantasy or something on the console, right? I'm like, I'm gonna go on the go, but I'll take my game with me. It'll save a certain span of the game from where you're at right now to maybe like the next chunk of the level, and it'll put that on the mobile device so you can play it. You can play with no streaming and no nothing else. And then when you get to the end of that, it's going to say, okay, now you need to connect back to your console to get the rest, or you need to, if Nintendo can actually get their internet game back in the game, I guess, you could stream the next chunk to your portable device and keep playing.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
That requires thought that Nintendo obviously hasn't put into their console
in a very, very long time.
That too, but such a system could be easily exploited by the likes of EA, because imagine you buy yourself a game for $60, and you can only play the first 15 minutes on that console. And then, like, hey, if you want to continue playing, you got to purchase a version for the portable device, another $60, and then you have to go back and forth between the two of them. And maybe there's also going to be DLC that's going to be like 50% of the game that has been lopped off.
Star Wars Battlefront.
Fuck that game.
I prefer to have 100% of my game on the game disc from the get-go. Plus, personally, I feel sorry for the third-party developers who might be interested in developing some games for Nintendo, but now they're looking at it and they're like, oh, for fuck's sake, now we gotta develop something for the controller. We gotta do twice the work.
Yeah.
See,
Twice the amount of work.
The making the controller work with the software from the developer is just going to hinder people even wanting to bother.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to program people pressing the buttons on the fucking screen.
You know, as a lesbian, I think this controller's a really bad idea.
Well, of course. It's shaped like a penis, so that already is problematic. I mean, for fuck's sake, it's like Nintendo is standing on a stool with a rope around their neck, but now they're also taking out a shotgun and putting it in their mouths. It's like, do you want to see your company crash and burn? Why not just make a console that's comparable to the already existing two ones, so that you can have some multi-platform, and so that third-party developers don't have to learn practically a new Asian language of some sort just to be able to port their game to your system.
Jeez.
Ah.
Alright, there you go, folks. There's another bona fide Nintendo rant from CCS.
Yeah, I was about to say this will make the wild cards. It'll make the fans happy.
This brings me back to old TCS.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but again, it just blows my mind that Nintendo's not thinking any of this through. It's like they're literally wanting just a gimmick.
Yeah,
well, I mean, but that's their kind of been their thing always, is that they're always kind of trying new things. But at this one is just not a good idea.
Well, I mean, just as a person who's played games on mobile devices, it's a pain in the ass. You want buttons. I mean, the screen buttons suck.
I think I can get what they were going for. They have been stronger in the handheld markets.
Yeah.
So they're trying to transfer that success to their home consoles in some way.
Well, even their Wii U controller with the screen on it, it could be properly implemented to be something like if it was smaller, be an on-the-go type of device.
Yeah.
But again,
but, I mean, I can kind of see what they were trying to do. I mean, because if you have a console game and you're like gonna take a trip or something and you can't fucking bring your Wii with you on the bus while you're traveling, it's like it would be nice to be able to play those games on the go. But but like
only problem is the battery life.
But I mean, still, like to have the buttons on the actual screen itself and to have it be like the controller that you have rather than something like
stupid.
Yeah, like rather than to have something that looks like a DS or something that can just connect with your Wii, and like Matt said, like it would be a good idea to like download like a portion. You could download like levels or something into your DS, play it on the go, and then there you go.
Resync it later, yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably just a prototype concept. They might realize, oh crap, this isn't gonna work. We got to change things up.
Yeah, and again, there's a great deal of. I don't know. It seems like everyone's trying to make their own fucking controllers and trying to reinvent the wheel, like the Steam controller, right? I mean, the two trackpads. I don't understand how you can do. I don't know.
I'd have to look at the sales of those things, but the first thing that comes to mind is who's going to buy that? I mean,
yeah, especially when you just plug an Xbox controller right into a game and play it. But I don't understand what Steam was trying to do, but I can't imagine trying to like do quick movements. It'd be like trying to play a first-person shooter with a trackball. Nobody plays Doom with a trackpad. I mean, I got a trackpad on my laptop right here. I use a mouse for everything.
Yeah, you're right. It's not real innovation. They're just trying to reinvent the bicycle.
Yeah.
Or trying to convert a perfectly working bicycle into a unicycle to make it more hard for people to play the games.
No, I see cars need 5 wheels, Max.
Oh, absolutely.